That's the thing. If I looked at these and I read the name, I would think they have something to do with a comic book character. What's up guys, my name is Evan. Welcome back to WearTesters.com official YouTube channel. Today we got a full performance review for you and it's on these guys right here, the Under Armour Spawn 4. As you can tell by the name, the Under Armour Spawn 4 is the fourth shoe in Under Armour's Spawn series. The Spawn series has been a very consistent budget line that packs a lot of performance in a rather inexpensive package. Under Armour hasn't changed much from the Spawn 3 to the Spawn 4, just a few small tweaks here and there. The Under Armour Spawn 3 retails for $110, which is slightly more expensive than the Spawn 3, but it's still a good performance option at that price point. I picked mine up in the black, white, and gray colorway, but there's a black, white, and red colorway, and a pink and white colorway as well. Now a quick heads up, at the time of filming this video, the Under Armour Spawn 4 wasn't available in the US. I live in Spain and I was able to pick up my pair on Under Armour's Spanish website. But the Under Armour Spawn 4 should be releasing shortly in the United States. Okay, so when I got these in, I really didn't know what to think of them. They're really lightweight and they're really low cut and they remind me more of a running shoe or a cross training shoe than they do a basketball shoe. So the first time I saw these, I didn't love them aesthetically. They've grown on me the more I've played in them, but they kind of look like the perfect European point guard shoe, if that makes any sense. So if you're looking for a pair of shoes that aren't flashy but still pack a performance punch, you'll probably like these. And I actually dig the team vibes that these give off. Back when I used to play more competitively, I would always get 2 pairs of shoes for each season, one more signature style shoe for games, and then one more generic style shoe to beat up during practices. And from the first time I tried these on, they felt like a good shoe I would have bought to practice in. I was actually surprised how well they performed on court. I think they're a good guard-specific shoe, and the silhouette reminds me a lot of the Giannis Immortality, especially in this heel area. And I actually enjoyed playing in them, but let's dive into the performance features to see why. So starting off with the traction pattern, the shoe features a radial traction pattern throughout. There's 2 different shapes. You have these square areas along most of the shoe, and then these targeted areas that come in an X shape. You can see that the traction pattern wraps around the shoe in the inside here and here. You can also see it here on the outside of the shoe and both in the forefoot and the heel. So you should get some extra coverage from the traction pattern when you're doing any push-off movements or when you're stopping or sliding. Now, I really like the traction on these. I got to play with these indoors and outdoors. The indoor courts I usually play on don't have great finishes and they're very dusty in general. And I had 0 issues with these guys. And I actually got to play with these in a couple playoff games. So I really put them through their paces and the traction held up really well.
Our deck on this hop will be 10,000 feet. There'll be no engagement below that.
The one thing I will say about the rubber that they used on the sole is that it is on the softer side. Now I've used these 4 or 5 times outdoors and I can already start seeing some fraying in the traction pattern. It's not the softest rubber I've ever seen, but it's not the most durable one either.
I know you're angry and we are truly, truly sorry.
So if you're thinking about using these only outdoors, they might not last as much as you want.
That's what she said.
Moving on to the cushion, the Under Armour Spawn 4 features full-length Micro G. If you're a fan of Under Armour, you already know how good Micro G can be, and the Micro G in these guys is actually really good. If you happen to buy the Spawn 3 and you enjoyed that shoe, you should really enjoy this one because the cushion setup is practically identical. One thing to note is that the cushion starts off a bit stiffer.
Eso es lo que dice él.
Not uncomfortable by any means, but as you play in them and as you break them in, the cushioning gets more and more soft and the ride becomes more plush. Another thing I should mention, and you can kind of see it at a first glance, is that the Micro G is shaped like a wedge. So it's thicker in the heel and thinner in the forefoot. So you feel slightly tilted forward. That plus the rounded shape of the heel makes it really easy to step into your shot. It's not an issue, but it's just something you should keep in mind. Now moving on to the materials. The materials are nothing special. You would almost say that they're cheap.
How rude.
So the shoe's upper is this woven nylon mesh with fuse overlays in high wear areas. It keeps the shoe very lightweight and well ventilated, and there's almost no break-in time, but they do feel kind of cheap in hand, and I doubt that it's a very durable setup. At this point, I actually have some visible scuffing on the toe area of the shoe and on the heel. One detail I did like were the metal grommets towards the top. I tend to tie my shoes really tight, and that normally chews right through synthetic eye stays like these, so that's one detail I did appreciate.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Now moving on to the shoe's overall fit, I gotta say it was the feature I liked the least from the shoe. These guys feature Under Armour's Anatomics technology, which is supposed to mimic the anatomy of the human foot, but I gotta say I didn't really notice it. I ordered these in my usual size 12, and I'm pretty sure I could have gone down a whole half a size. There's a lot of dead space in the toe area, and as I mentioned, I like to tie my shoes really tight. And the shoe features these two lace cables in the midfoot. Now, I had no issue with the right shoe. The left one did cramp my foot really bad, and it did take me some time to figure out the lacing so that wouldn't happen. That just might be my foot shape, but I would definitely suggest to go in and try these on if you're thinking about buying them. So moving on to the support of the shoe, they actually performed really well without having any remarkable support features.
There's a secret in here. You'll see.
As you can see, you can practically bend these in half like a barefoot shoe. There's nothing really in the heel in terms of support. The shoe does have a wide base, but there are no outriggers. And again, that upper is that soft woven material. But all of them put together actually performed really well in my opinion. I'm 6'3" and I weigh about 230 pounds. So when the shoe is lacking in support, I really notice it, but that didn't happen in this case. Overall, I would say I like the shoe. It's not a perfect shoe by any means, but it does have a good blend of features that I personally enjoyed. I wouldn't choose this as my primary shoe for league games, but I think it's a perfectly serviceable shoe for practices, to beat up, to take outdoors. And at the price, you do get some bang for your buck. So if you're looking for a good practice shoe, this is a really good option in my opinion. Well, that'll do it for our performance review on the Under Armour Spawn 4. You can check out the full written review in the link in the description box below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, be good.